like the Green Book, and including a diverse collection of books about New York. So come to the city store, located in the North Plaza of the Municipal Building. For more information, dial 311 or visit www.nyc.gov.
Remember, for more information about New York City government services, dial 311 or visit nyc.gov.
How do I get water and sewer bill information?
When clean New York City water comes out of your tap, it's part of a system that supplies over 9 million people. The Department of Environmental Protection's website is a fast, easy, and convenient way to view and pay your water bill. Go to nyc.gov and search DEP Ways to Pay Your Bill. There you can look at water usage and spot leaks and water waste that can cost you money. If you want to pay your bill by mail, phone, or in person, you'll need your account number located on the upper left side of your water bill. You can pay by phone by calling 866-622-8292, or you can pay in person by visiting a DEP borough office. Sometimes just mentioning the word taxes sends people running for cover. It can be an overwhelming topic. And if you're a homeowner, understanding property tax is just one more thing on a long to-do list.
How do I get help understanding my property tax account?
If you have questions about your property taxes or your account bill from finance, there's help available. Log on to the finance section of nyc.gov. Here you can check your balance, estimate future taxes, and make a payment. There's also a list of frequently asked questions to answer or explain even the smallest problem, like how to replace your bill, how to pay online, or how to change your mailing address. Don't see your particular question? Contact the Department of Finance by email, traditional mail, or by contacting 311.
Remember, for more information about New York City government services, dial 311 or visit nyc.gov.
If you've paid your parking ticket and are having a problem with the payment process, you can find help.
How do I get help with parking ticket payment problems?
Say, for example, you're owed a refund. If you're the registered owner of the car, the finance department will automatically issue a check for the overpayment within 30 days. If you're not the registered owner of the vehicle, procedures may be different, so make sure you save your tickets, payments, and tow receipts. Log on to the finance section of nyc.gov, click on refunds, and follow the instructions. You can file online or download a form to mail in later. Still can't find a solution to your problem? Contact 311 and a representative from the Department of Finance will get back to you.
Today might be the day I drop out of school. Today could be the last day I try. My parents alone can't stop me. My friends can't even stop me. But you might be able to. With United Way, you could tutor me, be my mentor, or volunteer to just read with me. If someone had helped me earlier, I might not be struggling. And studies prove that kids who read well by 3rd grade are more likely to graduate. There are tons of ways people like you can help kids like me stay in school. And United Way is calling for you to be one of them. Because it takes 12 years to create a graduate. It takes about the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between me becoming one or the other could be you. Make me a success, not a statistic.
Take the pledge to volunteer now at unitedway.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Getting a parking ticket isn't fun, but it happens. It's best to deal with it right away, but if you've put it off, you'll need to find out where you stand.
How do I check the status of a parking ticket online?
You can check the status of your ticket online by logging on to the Department of Finance at nyc.gov. Just enter the ticket information or your license plate number. You can find out how much you owe or whether a ticket is in judgment. If you can't find your ticket online, don't panic. A printed ticket status is usually available within 4 days, and a handwritten ticket can take up to 3 weeks to be posted. Not contesting the ticket? Just use a major credit card to pay the fine online. Find it, pay it, and forget it.
Remember, for more information about New York City government services, dial 311 or visit nyc.gov.
When you were a little kid and you thought about what you wanted to be, teaching was at the top of your list. But things changed. And as you got older, teaching didn't seem like the best option anymore. So you're thinking you'll be something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Now you want to be a doctor. You don't think teachers save lives? 25 at a time. An actress? Try playing a different role every time the bell rings. How about a scientist? Ever heard of physics? Chemistry? Who do you think teaches that? Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, and taking learning far beyond the four walls of the classroom. It's time to recognize that great things are happening in teaching and put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
Have you ever either wanted to get in or out of your driveway only to discover that a stranger's car or truck is blocking it?
How do I report a vehicle blocking my driveway?
All drivers with a valid New York license are taught that blocking a driveway is a violation. In fact, the Department of Motor Vehicles states that you cannot park in a driveway, period. And yet the problem persists. So instead of doing something rash, register your complaint by contacting 311. There you could file a report letting them know that your driveway is being blocked. Or you could contact your local police precinct. Cars can be ticketed and towed. And if that happens, the perp will pay. Because fines are steep. It won't be cheap.
Remember, for more information about New York City government services, dial 311.
With more than 8 million people living in the city, there's a whole lot of garbage and recyclables to collect. So to keep things running smoothly, there's a timetable for pickups in all 5 boroughs.
What is my garbage and recycling pickup schedule?
Your pickup day and time depends on where you live in the city. To find out, simply go to nyc.gov and search Refuse Collection Schedule. But remember, you won't be seeing that garbage truck on city holidays. Really bad weather, like a snow or ice storm, which can make getting around tough, can also mean delays or cancellations. And it's not just your wardrobe that changes with the seasons, pickup times do too. Just go to the website to find out when to take out your trash and recyclables, and when to remove your empty bins from the curb. How do I find a police precinct or police service area based on name or address?
Each neighborhood across the 5 boroughs has a specific police precinct assigned to it, and it can be very helpful to know which one is closest to you. If you're trying to locate a police precinct or one of the 9 public housing police service areas, also known as a PSA, there are 2 ways to find the information on your computer. Log on and go to nyc.gov. Type in police precinct to find it by name, or type in find your precinct to locate it by address.
Remember, for more information about New York City government services, dial 311.
This is the sound of a brand new outdoor grill being hurled off a 20-story building. Now a stylish glass coffee table. An electric guitar. These are the things you could enjoy, all cast into oblivion. Because when you throw away money on wasted electricity, you throw away everything you could have bought with it. Visit EnergySavers.gov and get tips on how to save energy and money. Then do things like switch to Energy Star light bulbs or Energy Star appliances, and you could save hundreds of dollars a year. So this doesn't happen to the recliner you've had your eye on, or this to the treadmill on your wish list, or this to the shiny new bike your kid's been asking for. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at energysavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
Did you know that New York City has a store? Well, it does. It's the City Store, the official store for the City of New York, where you can find everything from gifts and collectibles to municipal publications like the Green Book, and including a diverse collection of books about New York. So come to the City Store, located in the North Plaza of the Municipal Building. For more information, dial 311 or visit www.nyc.gov.
Remember, for more information about New York City government services, dial 311 or visit nyc.gov.
How do I get water and sewer bill information?
When clean New York City water comes out of your tap, it's part of a system that supplies over 9 million people. The Department of Environmental Protection's website is a fast, easy, and convenient way to view and pay your water bill. Go to nyc.gov and search DEP Ways to Pay Your Bill. There you can look at water usage and spot leaks and water waste that can cost you money. If you want to pay your bill by mail, phone, or in person, you'll need your account number located on the upper left side of your water bill. You can pay by phone by calling 866-622-8292, or you can pay in person by visiting a DEP borough office. Sometimes just mentioning the word taxes sends people running for cover. It can be an overwhelming topic. And if you're a homeowner, understanding property tax is just one more thing on a long to-do list.
How do I get help understanding my property tax account?
If you have questions about your property taxes or your account bill from finance, there's help available. Log on to the finance section of nyc.gov. Here you can check your balance, estimate future taxes, and make a payment. There's also a list of frequently asked questions to answer or explain even the smallest problem, like how to replace your bill, how to pay online, or how to change your mailing address. Don't see your particular question? Contact the Department of Finance by email, traditional mail, or by contacting 311.
Remember, for more information about New York City government services, dial 311 or visit nyc.gov.
If you've paid your parking ticket and are having a problem with the payment process, you can find help.
How do I get help with parking ticket payment problems?
Say, for example, you're owed a refund. If you're the registered owner of the car, the finance department will automatically issue a check for the overpayment within 30 days. If you're not the registered owner of the vehicle, procedures may be different, so make sure you save your tickets, payments, and tow receipts. Log on to the finance section of nyc.gov, click on refunds, and follow the instructions. You can file online or download a form to mail in later. Still can't find a solution to your problem? Contact 311 and a representative from the Department of Finance will get back to you.
Today might be the day I drop out of school. Today could be the last day I try. My parents alone can't stop me. My friends can't even stop me. But you might be able to. With United Way, you could tutor me, be my mentor, or volunteer to just read with me. If someone had helped me earlier, I might not be struggling. And studies prove that kids who read well by 3rd grade are more likely to graduate. There are tons of ways people like you can help kids like me stay in school. And United Way is calling for you to be one of them. Because it takes 12 years to create a graduate. It takes about the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between me becoming one or the other could be you. Make me a success, not a statistic.
Take the pledge to volunteer now at unitedway.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Getting a parking ticket isn't fun, but it happens. It's best to deal with it right away, but if you've put it off, you'll need to find out where you stand.
How do I check the status of a parking ticket online?
You can check the status of your ticket online by logging on to the Department of Finance at nyc.gov. Just enter the ticket information or your license plate number. You can find out how much you owe or whether a ticket is in judgment. If you can't find your ticket online, don't panic. A printed ticket status is usually available within 4 days, and a handwritten ticket can take up to 3 weeks to be posted. Not contesting the ticket? Just use a major credit card to pay the fine online. Find it.
You know, you're just that good. Just that good. Oh. That's right here, yeah. You used to cut mine. I know, he showed me a picture with you and said you used to cut your hair. My brother wants to. Great minds think alike. Let's give our folks a moment to get assembled. Let me acknowledge everyone who's here while the media is getting set up. I want to thank, of course, City Council Speaker Melissa Mark Viverito for joining us, and our schools chancellor, Carmen Farina, and our deputy mayor, Richard Bury. I want to also thank Juana Carino. Where is Juana? Juana? Hold on, we need Juana Carino. Rachel? Juana Carino, Carino. From Make the Road, New York. ¿Dónde está Juana? Okay. Presente. Bien. I'd also like to acknowledge and thank our Executive Director for Early Child Education at the Department of Education, Sophia Pappas, who's doing a great job as we prepare for the great expansion of full-day pre-K ahead. Also, we have some great supporters of the effort to create full-day pre-K for every child in the city, and after-school programs for every middle school child, including two of the people who actually got to make this happen in Albany. I want to thank them both, State Senator Mike Gianaris and Assemblyman Mike Miller. Thank you for your support. And then I can safely say two of the strongest, most passionate supporters of this effort in the City Council. The Education Chair, Danny Drum, thank you. And the man who represents this school and this district, Antonio Reynoso, thank you so much. And I want to thank everyone at PS 239 for hosting us, especially the principal, Robin Connolly. Thank you for your great work at this great school. Carmen Farina and I are now reassessing all of our views on education. We've now realized children can do a lot more than we understood because of the young man who put up his hand as I was reading to this pre-K class, and he said he wanted to tell me a word he learned. I'm like, what's the word you learned? And he says, metamorphosis. Oh, so I was taken aback at the level of progress made here at PS 239. You're on a whole nother level here. There was a fourth grade. You think, what metamorphosis? What level is that? Could have taught a fourth grade class. Right. So, no, the kids were fantastic. I read The Very Hungry Caterpillar, which is a classic, one that I read with great joy to Chiara and Dante when they were kids. These kids were extraordinary. They were so into it. They were so focused, but their vocabulary was amazing. Their poise was amazing. They were really comfortable putting up their hands and offering their answers even before I asked the question. This is everything we hope for the children of New York City. And you got to see a great glimpse of it here, and it really points out the power of early childhood education. So over the last 18 months, I've been talking about how important pre-K is, how important early childhood education is. And I'll tell you, today just convinces me even further of what a crucial part of our educational efforts this is. When you see kids on the right path, when you see them thriving, when you see them loving the educational process, that love of learning that was so evident in the room just a few minutes ago, you know that they're going to make it. You know they're going to do well in school. And that's what pre-K is all about, setting that foundation. I said earlier when I was at the Association for a Better New York, think of it in terms of how you build a house. Everything depends on the foundation that you lay down first, and that's what pre-K is. And it's something that now tens of thousands more families will get to experience and benefit from because of the progress we've made. And the important reality is that we know for us to create these programs, to get them ready and make sure they're highest quality. There's a huge amount of work to do, including the work of reaching out to our parents and getting them involved. The first step, of course, was to win the funding. The $300 million that we'll get each year for the next 5 years will be pivotal to making this possible. And again, I want to thank all the members of the Senate and the Assembly, and thank Governor Cuomo, everyone who supported us in this effort. And again, there's going to be 2 phases. The first phase this September, when we work to get this number up to 53,000 kids in full-day pre-K. Right now, only about 20,000 kids in full-day pre-K in all of New York City. Our plan takes up to 53,000 this September. And then the following school year, we get up to 73,000. Literally every child who can be served in this city will be served by that second year. And so this is a very aggressive build-out plan. It's something we believe is necessary for the future of our school system, for the future of our children and families, for the future of our entire city, for its economic future, to get kids this kind of foundation to allow them to learn. And it starts today, literally today. Now that the money is secure, we started this very day sending out notices to parents all over New York City, letting them know the good news, that they have a lot more pre-K seats that they can apply for, and that they're going to be full-day seats now for so many more kids than have been in the past. Now, as we've said previously, this program involves both our public schools and community-based organizations. And we're going to involve a number of other educational institutions, including charter schools and religious schools, all of them together in a common cause to make sure that we have pre-K available for 53,000 kids full day. The first wave of this effort we're putting into place today, and it'll be the first part of what we do in the public school buildings themselves, where there'll be 4,270 new high-quality full-day pre-K seats. And that will be, again, beginning this September across a number of schools. And this is, again, the beginning. And PS 239 is an example of what this difference will be. Right now, this extraordinary school, I've seen with my own eyes, this extraordinary school only is able to offer half-day seats to the children here. These extraordinary kids that we saw thriving have only had the advantage of a few hours a day in a pre-K setting. Now, every one of the seats will become full-day seats, and that's going to allow so much more for the children of this school. And by the way, let's talk about parents. For the parents of this community, a schedule that finally starts to align with their needs and their reality so that they can go to work and they can work a full workday knowing that their kids have this support. When we go through all the phases of this plan, there's going to be a variety of pieces to it, again, starting with the public schools but going beyond. There'll be half-day seats like here at PS 239 that are converted to full-day seats. There'll be new full-day seats at schools that have full-day but don't have enough. We'll be adding additional full-day seats. And there will be full-day seats added at schools that had no pre-K at all before. So there's a lot of different pieces will be brought together in our plan. At the end of this first phase, as we go into September, of the almost 800 elementary schools in New York City, nearly 60% will be offering full-day pre-K seats by this first phase in September. Again, we'll be all across the city. And we know that behind it, there will be a lot of additional space, and we'll be making further announcements in all the other pieces of this equation. We've had an outpouring of support from community-based organizations and all other types of schools offering space. We know we've had tremendous progress with teachers coming forward with early childhood certification who are excited to be a part of this effort. The bottom line is now that we need to get the word out to parents that it's time to sign up. Parents over the years, I can say this from my own experience, looked at the process of signing up for pre-K with a certain hesitation because they knew there were so few seats available, and they knew that of the seats that existed, the vast majority were half-day. Again, just to give you the frame on the current reality in New York City, only about 20,000 full-day, as I mentioned, about 40,000 half-day. So a typical parent knew if they got anything, it was going to be half-day. It's going to be something like 8:30 to 11:30, 11:30 to 2:30. Really a limited slice of the day. And then for right now, about 10,000 parents, the answer was they got nothing. And they had to go try and find some other alternative for their children. Now, for the first time, when parents sign up, they're going to know the likelihood is a full-day seat. And we need to get that word out to parents, and we need them to apply for the public school seats, for the seats that are available in our public school buildings. The deadline is April 23rd. Now, let me hasten to add, for the community-based organizations and a lot of the other pieces that will make up this pre-K network, there'll be opportunities to apply later. That's going to be a rolling admissions process. There'll be many opportunities for people to find good options in their neighborhood. But for the public schools that will now be providing full-day pre-K, the deadline to apply is April 23rd, and we're going to do everything in our power to get that word out. For those parents ready to apply for full-day pre-K for their children, there's two ways to do it. One is online, schools.nyc.gov/pre-K. That's no hyphen, just P-R-E-K. Again, schools.nyc.gov/pre-K. Also, parents can apply in person at the nearest enrollment office to find out where a local office is. They can go online again, schools.nyc.gov, or call 718-935-2009, 718-935-2009. And if you want to get information and updates via text, just text the word pre-K, again, no hyphen, P-R-E-K, to 877-877. Again, text the word pre-K to 877-877. Yes, you being very high-tech, I'm sure you will do that. So all of these tools will allow us to get information out to parents right away so they can apply for the options available in the schools in their neighborhood up through April 23rd. Again, after that, there'll be additional opportunities to apply to seats available in community-based organizations and other options in their neighborhood. As we now go into full gear implementing this plan, I've said many times it will be a central focus at City Hall, obviously a central focus at the Department of Education. We're bringing together a number of different agencies, both to get the pre-K ready and the after-school component of our work ready. And our secret weapon pulling all these strands together is our new Deputy Mayor, Richard Bury, who's doing a great job already. And Richard, let's hear from you as we now start down this road to make our city work better for our children.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for the introduction. I could not be more pleased here today to be part of this incredible announcement. So the basic message is this, just to reinforce what the mayor just said. The message for New York City parents is you can start enrolling your kids now into find high-quality, full-day, educational, universal pre-kindergarten options. And it really was amazing to sit in that classroom with those 4-year-olds. And I have to say I feel a little deficient as a parent right now because I'm not sure if my 10-year-old can say metamorphosis, but I'll test him when I get home. Clearly the talent is here, the seats are here, and now with the state budget agreement, the dollars are there. So we're ready to launch. Your child can be a part of it. The mayor just described the process for applications. Here today we're announcing the first milestone, this first wave of new seats in public schools. And so there's now a new option available for parents. The application deadline for those is April 23rd, so we need parents to get out there and apply. Of course, that's just the first wave. We'll continue to announce additional seats, including in our community-based organization. That application process will go through the summer. Right now, I just want you to know that folks in the city are working day and night. The mayor pointed out Sophia Pappas and her team at the Department of Education is literally working day and night and weekends, as are the dozen other city agencies around the city that are working on this initiative to make it happen. And so I just want parents to know that we are working hard to build a fantastic, strong system for your children, which we know will lay the groundwork for a more equitable and a more just and a more effective educational system. And what we need right now is for parents to go out there and sign up your kids to make sure that they can take advantage of these incredible services. So thank you. I now have the pleasure of introducing the woman who leads the Department of Education, a respected and legendary educator.
It's all true.
I like her a lot, so I'm happy to say nice things about her. I'm really honored to introduce Chancellor Carmen Farina.
Now, can you do the step, or do you need me to do that?
I watched you do it a few times.
Hey, look at that. Smooth. Very good.
I watched. I pay attention.
Very good.
I can't tell you how thrilled I am to be here today. I've been to the school before when I was wearing my deputy chancellor hat, and it's always been a good school. But I can't imagine what's going to happen next year when these kids who are so fabulous today double the number of time they have in school. This was not babysitting. I want to be clear to a lot of people who think that pre-K is where you bring your children in the morning so you can go to work and come back and pick them up and they've had a great day. They are having a great day here, but what they're learning is unbelievable. Not only what they're learning, but the self-esteem they're getting, their need to teach each other. This little boy in the front row, until he could get the word expired out, and he kept saying he had a Metro card that expired, and they're using vocabulary. Many of our middle school kids are still struggling with some of the vocabulary that I heard these kids use today. So we're going to have an opportunity in the city of New York to really up not only what kids can do, but the expectations that teachers like the ones in this school have for those kids. When I asked the teacher, how do you do this? She said very simply, I don't talk to them like they're little kids. I have real conversations with them. I talk to them about real things. That's what pre-K in New York City, especially under Sophia Pappas and her team, who is going to bring in the best people to train our pre-K teachers, is going to be. Once again, I want to say to parents, if there's any doubt in your mind that this is an initiative that you're not sure about, take my word for it. As a grandmother, as an abuela, I pay a lot of money for my grandchildren to have this experience, and for you, it's free of charge. So join the pre-K rallies. Come and join, because really, you're in for a very special ride. Thank you. En español.
Especially the sign-up dates.
Okay. Por favor, venir a registrar para el pre-K antes del 23 de abril. Lo que yo vi en esta escuela hoy es una cosa muy, muy importante. Los chiquillos no están aquí para no hacer nada, para divertirse. Están divirtiéndose, pero la cosa más importante es que están aprendiendo. Y están aprendiendo cosas que muchos chiquillos en la clase 4 aún no saben. Lo que aprendieron aquí, de lo que estaban hablando aquí hoy, es una cosa muy avanzada. Y en las escuelas como estas, donde los chiquillos van a aprender usando las manos, aprendiendo cosas de ciencias, yo aprendí más de mariposas hoy que aprendí en muchas clases muchas más altas. Y las palabras que usaron, chrysalis, metamorphosis, lo que comen y cómo viven, es una cosa que para todos los chiquillos de Nueva York va a ser una cosa muy, los va a enseñar mucho. Y la cosa también es que van a venir a casa hablando de cosas que a lo mejor los padres no saben. Y las mejores enseñanzas son cuando nuestros hijos nos pueden enseñar a nosotros cosas que no sabemos. The one thing I said in Spanish that I didn't say in English, I want to say, what these kids are going to do, they're going to go home and teach their parents about things that their parents may not know.
Explain to the rest of you.
Okay, so thank you.
Thank you very much. That was excellent. The fact that we're at this point is because we had extraordinary support. And I met with a group of parents this morning, parent activists and leaders from all over the city who really fueled this effort, whose voices were heard in Albany. And this is why we're now able to make this great progress for our city. But I also think it's crucial to recognize that the City Council was a partner every step of the way. A lot of people in Albany asked me early on, would the City Council believe in and support this initiative? I said I had faith the City Council would be among our strongest and most enthusiastic supporters. And that's been true. I want to thank the council members, and I especially want to thank our speaker, Melissa Mark Viverito, for her leadership, and let's bring her forward. And you may speak in 2 languages if you'd like. There we go.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and it's great to be here with 2 of my great colleagues, our Chair of Education Committee, Danny Drum, and Antonio Reynoso, who traveled up to Albany the 2 times that we went to talk about the importance of this funding. And I want to thank the state reps for their support. Obviously, we got a lot of money, and we're going to make this a reality. So, you know, now that the funding has been approved for full-day universal pre-K, thanks to the mayor's advocacy and Governor Cuomo and the state legislature, the real work is now beginning, as we have heard. So it's a great day. It's very exciting for so many families across the city, some of whom are here today. And that's why I'm proud to stand here today with my colleagues as the mayor is rolling out and talking about this first wave, right, of the 4,300 pre-K slots at 130 new sites across the city. Many said that a day like today would never happen, that this effort was bound to fail. But because of the mayor's advocacy and the hard work of many people here today, it's coming to fruition. And so I had said earlier this week that this is a very, very big deal. This is a game changer in the lives of individuals, in the lives of communities. This is going to make a difference in the lives of the children that will benefit from universal pre-K. We know that universal pre-K gives children a head start that will benefit them for the rest of their lives. And these are concrete steps towards making that happen. We talk about, it's very real, that there is an achievement gap in this city. And when we talk about the critical need to really lay a solid foundation, universal pre-K is such a foundation that will help lessen that achievement gap, which is too real in this city. And we know that it also can help in combating the persistent income inequality in the earliest of times. And this is something we can all be incredibly proud of. So again, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Chancellor, Deputy Mayor, all the parents that are here. This was a collective effort. And so it's a true victory for the lives of many individuals in this city. Estamos aquí, este es un gran día, un día importante ahora que hemos podido conseguir el dinero del Estado para esta educación preescolar. Estamos aquí anunciando, el alcalde está anunciando 4.500 cupos en 130 diferentes lugares a través de esta ciudad y va a estar haciendo estos anuncios en las próximas semanas hasta que lleguemos a los 53.000 cupos que vamos a empezar en agosto en este año. Y como dijo la canciller, que necesitamos que los padres entiendan y sepan que tienen hasta el 23, hasta el 23 de abril para inscribirse y que pueden buscar la información en el sitio del web de la ciudad y que también pueden recibir información a través de texto y esa es información que deberían saber los padres y urgirles que se inscriban. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. I want to tell you again, thank you to the speaker, thank you to the council, and thank you to all the parents. I want to just give a special appreciation and recognition to the parents who are so active here at PS 239. It's a great PTA, and these parents make a big difference in the school. I want to thank you because you're standing up for our schools, you're standing up for our kids, and you're helping to make things better. Yes. So really, really appreciate your efforts. Give them a round of applause. Now, parents played such an extraordinary role, and one of them in this victory, one of the people who stood up and did a lot to help was Juana Carino, and her organization, Make the Road New York, was deeply involved in achieving this victory both here and in Albany. Let's have Juana come forward. I think hablas español, ¿sí? Español with English translation.
Yeah.
We do it all. Okay.
No, me. Okay. Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Juana Cariño y soy miembro de Se Hace Camino a Nueva York. Disculpen que yo estoy un poco nerviosa, ya que lo mío no es esto, lo mío es otras cosas, pero por los niños yo voy a tratar de hacer lo que yo pueda. Y si no me entienden, por favor, me disculpan. Bueno, yo soy miembro de Se Hace Camino Nueva York. Yo soy madre de 5 hijos, 4 niñas y un varón. Todos han ido a las escuelas públicas, han vivido en esta área de la ciudad hace 35 años. Un día muy feliz para mí, porque voy a que todos
¿Por qué no hablas sin leerlo? Háganlo cuestión.
Sin leerlo.
Sí.
Okay. Yo estoy orgullosa de estar aquí con ustedes, con este triunfo que hemos tenido. Nosotros hemos luchado mucho. hemos recogido firmas en las calles, hemos ido a Albany a hacer campaña. Nosotros no hemos parado, hemos dado entrevistas con la prensa. ¿Y por qué? Por los niños, porque yo tengo hijos y yo hubiera querido que hubieran estado más alto, pero no hay recursos. ¿Y qué pasa cuando no hay recursos? Los niños se salen de la escuela, no hay deporte, no hay clases de arte, no hay nada, y los niños se aburren en la escuela. Cuando tú viene un hijo tuyo de la escuela y tú le dices, ¿cómo te fue en la escuela? Estoy aburrido. ¿Por qué? Porque la clase estaba aburrida. Entonces, ¿qué pasa? Los niños pierden el interés en la escuela. Entonces, tenemos que como poner algo que los niños les llame la atención en la escuela, como más deporte, como baile, muchas cosas que necesitan, programas de música, los niños necesitan más cosas que nosotros no sabemos.
You want to do it?
Okay.
All right. Special guest translator.
Debe traducir un segundito porque no. That is, she's a parent. Her name is her name is Juana Cariño. She's with Make the Road New York. She has 5 children, all of whom are in the public school system. But she talks about that she's been engaged actively as part of the campaign on the ground, collecting signatures, traveling to Albany to make sure that the message is heard. And she says personally from experience that obviously the level of engagement that pre-K provides to really expand the knowledge of children, really making inquiries. And so she's really, really sold on this. She believes and understands the importance of it personally. And she's here very happy and thankful that we've arrived at this moment.
Thank you so much. Muchas gracias. I think Juana had an all-star team here. You had Carmen, the school's chancellor, coaching you, and the city council speaker translating for you. It's a good day. I'm going to do a moment in Spanish, and then we will go to Q&A. And I have 3 sentences here. Por meses hemos venido hablando sobre planes para implementar pre-kinder gratis y a tiempo completo para todos los niños de 4 años. Estamos anunciando que hemos aprobado miles solicitudes de cupos de pre-kinder en escuelas públicas para comenzar este septiembre. Le pedimos a todos los padres de niños que van a cumplir 4 años que soliciten cupo antes de 23 de abril. And one more fact I want to provide about our earlier visit to the classroom. Carmen was right. There was one young man who really wanted to share the word expired with us. There was a young girl who put up her hand. Her word was chrysalis. Again, 4-year-old level chrysalis. And then that was taken up another notch all the way to the young man who said metamorphosis. So big things happening at PS 239. On topic first. On topic, Grace.
A question about the application process. So when parents apply, are they applying to have their child attend a pre-K program in a specific school? If they apply to the public school options, and can you only go, if your neighborhood school is not on this list, does that mean you have to wait until they're to apply to the CBOs, or?
Okay, we're going to bring up New York City pre-K wizard Sophia Pappas, who will explain to you the mechanics.
So
your new title on your business card.
Sure. Thank you. So parents, when they apply, can put up to 12 options, public school options, and you can put options in any part of the city. And it's not first come, first serve. So at the end of the application deadline, we collect all the applications that came in, and then parents are matched based on a set of priorities that start with your neighborhood school, but you have an opportunity potentially to attend other schools outside of that area.
Priorities given to children in that around that neighborhood school. So if they all apply, then it's harder to go.
It really depends on what other parents put on their preferences. I think the exciting part now is with even more full-day options. A lot of parents who in the past may have put an option down and not gotten it because there were too limited number of full-day seats, now will have a greater opportunity.
Let me give a couple of framing points here that stay near. So 20,000 full-day seats now, going up to 50,000 plus in September, a 150% increase in the availability of full-day pre-K in New York City. Then another jump beyond that to over 70,000. So look at the escalation here that we're putting together. It's going to really change things for so many parents and families. To do that, we started with the resources we had, the seats in the public school buildings. We talked about that weeks ago, about how we solicited from principals information about which schools had seats available. And then we went to the community-based organizations, the religious schools. Now we're going to be working with the charter schools as well. So this is going to be constantly a growth of the available options. You cannot leave, even though school's out. Then we also talked about for the second year, when we go up above 70,000, we're going to take advantage of all of those type of options we've talked about already, and in some areas we may be adding additional space. For example, a pre-K center, which is when you take kids from a neighborhood that might go to 3, 4, 5 different local elementary schools, and you have the pre-K for all those schools in one central location. That's something obviously would take some time to do. But the point is, we're going to keep building this out and building this out as we go along. For the first year, of course, we needed space that was readily available right now.
The same for applying to community-based organizations where you list 12, or you have to individually apply to each.
Families go to each individual one. We really encourage them to go visit various CBOs. I think what's so positive about our city is we have a diverse range of options in community-based organizations and public schools. So there's a lot that we do at the department to make sure families know about all of their options through calls, through mailings, through outreach events. The mayor was at one in Brooklyn a few weeks ago. And so the key here is parents need to know all the options available, and then for the CBOs, they would go directly to the CBO.
And I'm emphasizing, since we're in the presence of the leader of the City Council, we're going to need our friends in the City Council to use their outreach capacity, all their district office, their staff, and all the events they go to also let parents know about these opportunities.
Mayor, you're announcing a website, a way that parents can apply, also the texting mechanism.
And phone, the telephone, old school, the telephone.
Have you tested these methods? We've all just seen
I don't know what you're talking about.
Technological glitches, a well-intentioned program can sometimes frustrate families. So to what degree have you tested the website? Hearing about 12 ranking choices sounds like a recipe for confusion.
I'll turn to Sophia and Richard if he wants to jump in too. I think we can safely say this is a much simpler application than the one to which you are referring, and a much simpler process, and one that's been in place in previous years, just with a lot fewer options available to parents. But anything you want to add on the efficacy of your website?
Sure. So it has been in place, and I don't have the exact number of years for the pre-K, but it has been a tested system. And we learned today, I mean, we uploaded the new options for families, and everything turned out well. And now families can go online, and they will have their new options available in that same system. And same with the texting. We have used it before. We have been able to reach families, but now we're going to have a lot more families interested because we have so many more options available.
I was curious how you will decide which kids can actually get these new seats in the public schools. Like, will it be based on household income, like whether or not they are able to afford their own pre-K option?
So for the public schools, there are a set of priorities, starting with kids in their zone school, the school closest to them, and if they have a sibling in that area. There are no income requirements. This is free universal pre-K. It's really important that we're talking about high-quality pre-K for all children across all neighborhoods in the city, and you'll see that reflected in the list as well. We've got schools spread across all 5 boroughs, and so we're really excited to be able to offer that.
What I meant was, what is one of the priorities, like, because it's supposed to, like, kind of kids that have inequality in education, are you guys targeting what the priority? Are they going to be the people who cannot
Jump in on
afford
this.
private?
No, let's be clear. That's a very important question. I appreciate it. We modeled this program on the concept of universality because it is about serving every child. It's about providing the highest quality level of education to every child at a point when they're best able to learn. That's the power of early childhood education. Kids at the age of 4 have a special ability to learn. That is something we need to happen on a society-wide basis. So this is truly universal. It's for everyone. And the underlying theory also is it is not just something that in that moment helps a given child or family or makes that individual child's educational trajectory better. It will affect the whole school system. Every child who gets full day pre-K is going to go into kindergarten, then go into first grade in better position to learn. That is going to up the level in the classroom for everyone. It's a really, really important point. Best thing that can happen for our schools is to help everyone rise up because the conversation in the classroom, just like we saw earlier today, every child is helping, in effect, to teach every other child. Every child is answering a question. Every child is energetic about learning. It's affecting the overall dynamic. So that's why we want this to be truly universal. In the first year, again, about 150% increase in capacity. By the second year, literally every child of pre-K age in all of New York City, of every background, will get a seat. Any family that wants a seat will get a full-day seat. That's how the plan works.
How were these schools chosen? Were they the ones that had space, or were there considerations in terms of neighborhoods that actually have a lot of demand for pre-K that haven't had seats? Because every year there's hundreds of full-day pre-K seats in public schools that actually go unfilled, right?
So first and foremost, we were looking at quality, right? We wanted to find programs where they could offer high-quality, full-day pre-K to children across the city. But as we looked at the evaluation, we also, of course, had to look at the suitability of space and also community need. So we looked at, when we talk about where the seats are needed, we looked at places where there are big gaps between kids who are enrolled in kindergarten and existing full-day options. I think the thing about it is because we have such a small number of full-day pre-K seats right now, in most cases across the city, there was a need for hundreds of more seats. So as we were looking at it, of course, we looked at making sure that we weren't oversaturating, but we also have a situation where in most cases, we need more and more full-day.
Can you talk about the space sharing arrangement? Sounds like adding new programs. Will that need to go through the whole space sharing proposals, have educational impact statements? That is the 6-month deadline, I think.
Yeah, no, I want to make sure we're not doing apples and oranges here, so I'm looking at the Chancellor and Sophia in terms of DOE. No, we're talking about in the case of pre-K, we're, again, in some cases using existing school space. That's not a co-location or anything like that. And then the external options that we're taking into account, again, don't go through that kind of process. So this is a very different kind of approach. It's something we're able to do now as is.
Adding new programs within a public school building won't require
this is just adding capacity along the exact same model that we're working with now.
Yes. With the change in state law, I'm just wondering how big of a role you think charter schools will play in pre-K. Do you expect most programs that apply to host pre-K will be allowed to do so?
Well, I think given that we're moving right now for September, the reality for a lot of organizations is what they have available now is what they'll put into play, and then there'll be another bite at the apple for the following September. As we know, right now, there are charter affiliated organizations that work with the DOE to provide pre-K. Harlem Children's Zone is an example of that. So the affiliated organizations are in the game right now. They have the opportunity to expand. The charters that are ready to put forward applications right now and have the space, that's a live option now. Again, I think you'll see that play out more in the second year. All right, you got one already. New, on topic. We'll come to you if no one else has on topic, on topic.
Will the city consider extra funding to support the extended hours in these private schools and in the pre-K programs, and to match more working parents' schedules? Because right now the program ends like 2:30 in the afternoon, kind of early.
Right. I think there's There's a variety of existing programs that do match up. So those obviously still be available. I think the central reality, well, yeah, we understand that's not perfect right now, I agree, but it does exist on a wide scale. But I think what we heard of from parents all over this city is that the worst of all options was just having 3 hours, because they understood that their children weren't getting enough opportunity to learn, and very few parents had the flexibility to match around the 3-hour system. Now, if you have a system that goes a full school day, then there are some options at least you can turn to cover the rest of the time until a parent might come home, or parents may have enough flexibility in their schedule. But, you know, the current reality really hasn't been acceptable, both because it's such a bad match for parents' schedules and because it doesn't provide enough of an educational foundation. Okay, last chance on anyone who is not Grace. Now, Grace, okay. Two categories of reporters, anyone who's not Grace and Grace.
I have a quick follow-up to that and then one other short question. But
well, on topic.
So right now,
I saw some mission drift there. Okay.
Program that ends at 2:30. Those kids, if there's an after-school program at the elementary school, can those pre-K students enroll in that? Stay full day?
It really depends on the individual schools, because some schools have facilities for younger kids, and some don't start till 2nd or 3rd grade. So that's a school-by-school decision. But I expect in some schools that there are wide programs and other programs that are available.
And then when can we expect a list of the CBOs that are going to be offering full-day pre-K?
You got it, Richard? Whoever made the move first gets it.
Sure.
Wait, you don't need that, though. Hold on.
I don't.
No,
I like being almost as tall.
Okay.
This is
all right. This is making you happy.
Making me happy. So for the community-based organizations, by the end of May, we expect to have those decisions out, and so families will be able to begin applying end of May and in June. And I do want to reiterate something before that I think Sophia talked about briefly. It's important to understand the process, a very rigorous process of evaluating these proposals. They involve not only reading the written proposals, doing site visits for those organizations that have had pre-K in the past, evaluating their programs. The DOE is very, very much focused on ensuring that we have high-quality programs. So not every application that comes in is going to be funded. We're really looking at organizations that are ready, willing, and able to go.
On topic? Yeah, sure, go ahead.
I was wondering, if you're applying to the public school seats, should you not apply to the CBO seats?
Ooh, definitely apply widely.
Yes.
No, please, go ahead.
Apply a lot. Apply. That's the answer. Please don't, please apply. April 23rd initially for the public school seats, and then after the CBO seats are announced, to be able to apply directly to the community-based organizations. We're going to really work hard to make sure we have a system in place that gives parents good information so you know where to go. But no, you should not wait. You should apply.
Parents, I can say, as a New York City public school parent myself, it is typical, for example, at the high school level, you might apply on multiple tracks, general school options, specialized schools, performing arts schools, whatever. It's not unusual in this town that you put in various applications for various things. We want to strongly emphasize, and if there's one thing we want to come out of this press conference, is yes, apply for multiple options. And the first wave is the public school buildings themselves, and then apply for the community-based organizations and the other options as they become available. And then parents will start to get responses, and they'll choose based on the responses they get what's the best option for them. I want to thank, we have a representative of Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez. Where is her representative? I'm sorry, I knew that. I'm like looking around. Okay, thank you very, very much for being here, Evelyn. We appreciate it. And thank you for Nydia's support for this initiative. Off topic.
Commissioner Bratton made remarks recently about the low morale at the NYPD, and the PBA president today reiterated that, saying that rank and file police officers were blamed for the failed stop and frisk policy. I just wanted your reaction to their remarks.
Well, the stop and frisk policy was broken, and it created, in many neighborhoods, a rift between police and community, and it also made the job of the average police officer more difficult. I think that's an absolutely factual statement. And by the way, I heard that very powerfully from a number of police officers over the last few years who told me, off record, and even some precinct commanders admitted it. that the fact that there was a tension in many neighborhoods between police and community made it harder for the average officer to do their job, to go out and get the information they needed, to have the kind of partnership they wanted to have with the community. By the way, the PBA said this for years. They were very clear publicly that they thought the policy was undermining the ability of the average officer to do their job on the ground. So I just think that's a factually true statement. And now that we have moved away from that broken policy and we've settled the lawsuits and we are changing the dynamics on the ground between police and community, I think the average officer is having a much better experience. And I think morale is starting to come back. And I certainly think Commissioner Bratton has sent a very positive message from the very beginning, both of his respect for the men and women of the NYPD and for the notion that we have to have a real bond between police and community. As he said, policing has to be respectful, compassionate, and constitutional. And I think that was a very well-received message by New Yorkers and communities all over the city and by rank-and-file officers. Okay, yes.
I'd like to ask both the mayor and the chancellor, do you agree or disagree with the parents who are choosing to opt their children out of the Common Core tests? And do you have any concerns that if enough people do, that the data won't be as valuable?
I understand their frustrations. When my children were participating in high-stakes testing, I saw the same dynamics I think a lot of other parents have seen. The kids feel very nervous. They feel very overwhelmed by the process. We are clear that we're going to do everything in our power to move away from high-stakes testing. We're going to be using multiple measures in every way we can to make evaluations and make decisions. We're moving away from a lot of the sacred cows of the previous administration, like the use of the high-stakes testing to determine a quote-unquote grade for a school, which was a process I thought was broken from the beginning. So I think parents are keying into something that's very real in terms of wanting to see a more balanced system. Do you want to add to that?
I received lots of emails on both sides, and the one thing that I did put out in a letter to the field last week is that we have to respect everyone's opinion, both the parents who chose to send their kids to school because they felt they were ready for the challenge. And I think one of the things we as parents have to do sometimes is acknowledge that there are problems, but at the same time, that if you're ready for those challenges, meeting them, is really makes you feel very good. So I do think that whatever the parents decided to do, as long as everybody was respectful of everyone's opinion, I think was the right way to go.
If I may, what is the policy, Madam Chancellor and Mr. Mayor, for parents who opt their kids out of that test?
So the Chancellor start on that.
What does that paperwork look like for the kids who don't take these assessments?
I would say there were two different forks in the road to take. Some parents chose to keep their kids home, and we don't know if everyone who was absent actually was absent because of that. We're getting those statistics today. And then the other fork in the road is to go to school and actually bubble in that they're not taking the test. We won't know that till the end of the month in terms of all the things coming in, because this test is a multiple-day test, so we're waiting for that to play out. I called several schools that absolutely had no opt-outs whatsoever, and there were a handful of schools where there was obviously more of a parent, effort to do that. But I like I said, I think the one thing that parents need to know that a lot of our middle schools still, for example, have admissions procedures, and those admissions procedures sometimes are based on the fourth grade tests, and that's still going to be in place. So, parents do have choices to make, but they should be aware that all choices have consequences.
So, I'm sorry, did they get an incomplete?
You mean like functionally, how does it work?
Yeah.
I think, it's like if you were absent over time, you didn't take a makeup test. It's just that you didn't take the test. We will have multiple, in schools where students did not take the test, there will be portfolio assessments, which are coming out now, which would be the same way we're going to do multiple measures for promotion. It's the multiple assessments, portfolio multiple assessments.
I think, look, we're trying, we're trying to respect those parents. The fact is we have to, as much as we can in this city, fix what's broken in this area, meaning I think parents are going to feel different about this when they see us move away from high-stakes testing in all the areas we can. Now, you know well, some of this is, of course, federally mandated, some of this is state mandated. But a certain number of actions were taken by the previous administration that were optional, if you will, that were the choice of New York City to put more weight on high-stakes tests and use them in a lot of other ways more than that which was just mandated by the federal or state government. We're going to roll back a number of those actions. And I think parents who have a concern about high-stakes testing are going to be reassured by that. But I think this chancellor is making an important point. Whatever a parent chooses is their right. But they need to understand the consequences of the choice. They need to understand sort of the practical reality and to make a decision with their eyes wide open about whatever advantages or disadvantages exist. They retain the right, but we do hope that they'll be well informed as they make the choice.
Staten Island Technical High School, which is a specialized high school in Staten Island, may have no black students in its incoming class next year based on the specialized high school exam results. I was wondering your thoughts on that and your thoughts in general on the specialized high school exam and diversity. You know, what you I know you've said you were going to look into changing how admissions work. What are you looking at?
I don't believe in a single test determining admissions to a specialized high school. And it's something the Chancellor and I have talked about, and we're going to take the actions that we can take as the City of New York to move away from that. And we're going to appeal to Albany for some changes as well. It will take some time. We obviously knew coming in the door that this year's process was already well underway and it would not be possible to change at this late a date. But the fact is, going forward, we're looking to reform that process because it doesn't, you know, the admissions don't represent New York City. And I often say these schools, and I have a particular vantage point because of Dante's experience at Brooklyn Tech. I can tell you, you know, these kids, I've met so many of the kids at Tech, they are unquestionably the leaders of New York City in the future in every field, in government, in business, in the arts. These are the people who will make New York City what it's destined to be in the future. And that has to include children from all backgrounds. You know, that's what the city's always been about. We cannot have a dynamic where some of our greatest educational options are only available to people from certain backgrounds. It goes against everything we believe in as New Yorkers. So we're going to work to fix that. Please, please.
One of the things we did yesterday is we invited all the principals of the specialized high schools to a meeting to discuss their opinions on some of the things. And one of the things, and I think Bill should be particularly proud because it's Dante's former school, we're looking to see what we can do to better prepare our middle school kids who might be the right candidates for these schools. And there's a funding source called the Dream Specialized High Schools, which actually starts training the middle school kids starting in 6th, 7th, and 8th grades in some subject areas that will help them do better in terms of specialized tests. Last year, 48% of the kids who were in that program got into a specialized high school. So our goal is to work on this from 2 points of view also, to better prepare kids. Brooklyn Tech, for example, has started a program affiliated with 6 middle schools that might be feeder schools for them, where the kids are getting advanced courses after school and during the weekend. So we have a lot of optional ideas for how to make this better without diluting the experience of the specialized high schools.
You made your State of the City raising minimum wage a top priority. I want to know, what have you been actively doing lately to try to get New York City to be able to raise its minimum wage?
Look, it's something we believe in fundamentally. I think the minimum wage needs to be increased. I think it needs to be indexed for inflation going forward, and I think New York City should have a right to make this decision on our own. I think it was clear in the last few weeks that this was not going to be something that would move right away. So we turned our attention to a number of other things: pre-K, after school, homelessness prevention, HIV/AIDS, rent cap, and of course the speed cameras, which we're very hopeful of action on in the coming days. But we are going to, on a number of items, continue the agenda right away, and this is going to be one of them. You good? You got any more? All right. Thanks, everyone.